This is Reddit for Other Entertainment Blog, coming to another edition of MLB Hotstove News and Observations, Week 11 in the 2020-21 offseason. For those who don't remember, there was a big announcement of retirement the previous week video with Daniel Murphy. Now another postseason legendary player, Dustin Pedroia, is announcing retirement at age 37. He has not played in the last 3 to 5 years due to Manny Machado sliding and cleating him at second base, causing him to not play full seasons in three full seasons and a couple partial seasons. He's retiring at age 37, so imagine if he got to play until he was 40 and was putting up the usual 150 hits, single-digit home runs, 20-plus doubles, 60 to 80 RBIs, and bat 300 and play good defense. Because he already has an MVP, a Rookie of the Year, 2 World Series championships, a Silver Slugger, 4 All-Stars, and 4 Gold Glove winners, and he only finished with 1,800. Imagine if full seasons of 150-plus to 200 hits during those 3 to 5 years he missed, plus the 3 he has now, he would clearly be over 2,500 hits for his career, close to 2,700 hits. He would have a lot of doubles. They love the lifetime 300 batting average. He's not going to get in the Hall of Fame for his RBIs and home runs because he's a top of the order hitter, laser show, Dustin Pedroia. But when you got the World Series championships, the MVP, a lot of people like voting for MVPs and people win World Series. He's my favorite baseball player of this past decade plus, and it's going to be sad not to see him and think maybe if he's healthy, I could see him come to town when the Red Sox come to town, but that's not going to happen. Happy trails, Dustin Pedroia. Josh Phegley, former White Sox catcher who they traded to the A's with Marcus Semien and Chris Bassett for Nick Swisher, and then the Sox traded Nick Swisher, got nothing back, will be forever remembered a bad trade. He was the A's catcher for most of his time there, even if he wasn't starting. He was a platoon guy. Semien and Bassett still were helpful to them, so they won that trade. He then signed a minor deal with the Cubs in the 2020 season and briefly paid. And I'm guessing after 8 years, he said, you know what? I'm too good to have to go to the minor league camp and have a chance to make the team and maybe play or maybe not play when he thinks he's good enough to be a backup at least in the major league. And I feel the same. He's only 32. I feel like there are plenty of people that could sign him and he could be a good backup. But happy trails to Josh Phegley. Now, in the actual roster moves that happened was the Rockies signed Chris Owens to a minor deal. They re-signed him. Good utility depth. He played a lot of games for them in the bubble season. Well, not the bubble season, but the pandemic season. So that's good for them. He's a really helpful player. Carl Edwards Jr. hasn't been healthy or the same pitcher since he's been with the Cubs, as he's bounced around the team. But the Braves are hoping if they sign him to a minor league deal, he'll be healthy and it'll work out in their favor. Indians have signed Eddie Rosario, so you can plug in 20 to 30 home runs and 800 RBIs from him, and that'll help them figure out what to do now without Lindor and Carlos Santana in the middle lineups. That's a good move for them. The Astros signed Steven Stewart to a minor league deal, and with Josh Reddick gone, George Springer gone, the days of having Derek Fisher and Teoscar Hernandez and Jake Marisnick all on the 4-man roster are all gone, and it's just Tucker and Michael Brantley in the corners. So Souza's not a center fielder, but if Jordan Alvarez isn't the most healthy, Souza can fill in at DH as well, or Brantley can fill in at DH. You can play Souza, and when Souza's healthy, he's been a 20-30 home run guy and a 60-7 RBI guy, so that will help the Astros out on that minor league deal there. The Phillies re-signed Didi Gregorius, which will help out their middle infield so that you can have Segura stay at second base and have Scott Kingery in the utility role. There really wasn't that many teams that needed him as shortstop. The Orioles needed a shortstop, but the Blue Jays and the Twins, who got themselves some shortstops in the previous mentioned Marcus Semien and Andrew Simmons, they're moving other people around or moving them around, so they're not actually playing that position, so it made sense to go back to the team that actually needed you. Now, the Rockies have finally traded Nolan Arenado, giving them $50 million to take Nolan Arenado's huge contract, and they get back Austin Gomber, first baseman Lucan Baker, outfielder Jan Torres, right-handed pitchers Jake Woodford and Angel Rondon. Now, the Cardinals, Matt Carpenter has been the same player for a couple of years, and Paul Goldschmidt's been pretty good. So imagine if you have Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado in the middle of your lineup, and Paul DeYoung, who hits 20-plus home runs a year, and the potential of Tyler Neal, again, another season. They just got themselves not just the elite defensive third baseman, they got a guy who gets 100 RBIs pretty much every single season, and without playing in the high elevation of Colorado, there won't be all that wear and tear on him, so he'll be a lot healthier. Now, obviously, you could say, well, the high elevation made his statistics better, but hitting 100 RBIs every year is impressive no matter what ballpark you play your home games in. And it's not going to take away how good he is defensively. So the Cardinals basically said, we're going to win this division, sorry to everybody else. Now, the White Sox brought back Carlos Rodon. And the thing is, usually when teams non-tender guys, they don't want to pay him because they don't think it's worth it to go through arbitration and pay them. So they brought him back. The hope is maybe he's the 5th starter to start the season because his experiment as a reliever in both the regular season and the postseason, horrendous. Nobody wants to see him as a reliever because that's not the pitcher he is. He's a guy who could start. Maybe you can make him an opener some days and he'll pitch 3 to 4 innings, but that's it. So that's where I'm like cringing, like maybe Sox should not have brought him in. Cubs have signed Trevor Williams to a deal. For the Pirates, he's a good 5th starter. Eats up innings. The Cubs need pitchers after they lost pretty much their whole rotation. Yes, they got Davies in a trade, but Davies and Hendricks is not really a rotation. So that's kind of where they need just guys to eat innings up. Royals signed Hanser Alberto to minor league deal. He played really well as a utility role for the Orioles. The Royals kind of have a humongous set infield, but hey, another utility player doesn't hurt. Now, the Angels last season traded for Dylan Bundy to be in the rotation, a former Orioles pitcher. Well, they just traded for another pitcher in Alex Cobb, who's got 1 year left on his deal, and he really has been the same pitcher since he had surgery when he was with the Rays. Then he had to miss part of the season because nobody wanted to attach a draft pick and sign him, so it took a while for him to get in there, and he hasn't been the same pitcher. But the Angels are, again, desperate for pitching, and Alex Cobb is, again, a back-end starter, and that's what they have. And the Angels said, you can have our Jahmai Jones, who's not sure if he's an outfield second baseman prospect because we don't know what to do with him. So the Orioles just get themselves another player that they're not sure what to do with. The Rangers have brought back Elijah Shields on minor league deal. If you remember last year, they traded him in the Corey Kluber trade. The Rangers don't nearly have a center fielder. Like, Danny Santana's okay. They haven't tried the Willie Calhoun option in center field. Don't ever want to see Joey Gallo, so it wouldn't hurt that Elijah Shields makes the team. The Reds have signed Sean Doolittle after them trading away their closer, Raciel Iglesias, and people don't know why they did that in the first place. And Michael Lorenzen wants to be a starter, not a reliever sometimes. That having a veteran closer will be good for the Reds, who are trying to make it back to postseason after making it last year. The Phillies signed Hector Rondon to a minor league deal. The one-time Cubs closer, setup man, helped them win a World Series and was with the Astros. Didn't have a great year with the Diamondbacks, but the Phillies are just trying to rebuild that bullpen that hasn't been good with all the relievers either being hurt or horrible. So if he's the way he is with Archie Bradley and all the other guys, that may actually become a very good bullpen for them. Cubs have brought back Andrew Chafin. Hopefully he's healthy for a full season because when they acquired him last year, he wasn't the most healthy. The Twins have re-signed Nelson Cruz because with the National League not sure about a DH, there really wasn't that big of a market in the American League for him. So of course just stay where you know you're good and consistently hit 30 to 40 home runs and drive in 100. The Blue Jays have brought back Francisco Liriano. He was a starting pitcher for them for a couple of seasons a while back. They brought him into camp. Now their rotation is in flux, but Liriano wasn't a starter last year. He was used as a reliever, so most likely he's going to be used as a left-handed relief pitcher for that team. The Orioles have re-signed Wade LeBlanc to a minor league deal. They don't have a lot of pitching, so you might as well just bring back the junk you had last time. At least you're familiar with him. And he's a minor league deal, so it's not a lot of money. The Yankees signed Kyle Barraclough to a minor league deal. Hopefully he can regain what he used to be a couple years back and really help out the Yankees, who kind of need some help in the bullpen because the rotation is not as good, so they need to rely on that. The Rangers have signed Spencer Patton to a minor league deal. He pitched for them a while ago. It's just good organizational depth. The Rangers also signed Nick Vincent, who's a swing guy who's bounced around from team to team. Again, will probably pitch for them this year. There's no way in the season will go. The Reds signed Nicky Delamato to a minor league deal. They like to pick up Sox rejects. They had Matt Davison before. Now they have him. I'm not really sure if he's even going to be on the big league roster if there is no DH because he can't field. Now, interesting is the Rays have brought Chris Archer back in a one-year deal. He missed all of last season with surgery, and he, quite frankly, has not been good since he got traded to Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh had to give up all those players to get him, and it was just a weird move. So for them, if he's healthy and they're asking him to be the 4th or 5th starter, that's fine because they're going to need to eat some innings with Blake Snell being traded in that move and them losing Charlie Morton. So they just need somebody to pitch innings because they always seem to figure out the pitching and fixing people. Now, the Phillies have signed Chase Anderson again. They're trying to revamp their whole entire pitching staff, and if he's healthy remotely, he's a good back-end pitcher. Twins have signed Alex Colomé because they needed an actual closer, take away from the White Sox, who probably could have re-signed him. But for 1 year, he can get 30 to 40 saves. That's good for them. Geraldo Parra's back in the States as they sign my deal with the Nats. The National, where we're playing the outfield, they're going to need some good backup outfielders for defensive purposes, and he's won a Gold Glove. So that's good to see him back. The Baby Shark is back in the big league. Diamondbacks have signed Joakim Soria. They definitely, with no Archie Bradley and no Hector Rondon in their bullpen, not sure what's going on. Having a veteran closer in Joakim Soria is a good move. Now, the Angels picked up Robel Garcia off waivers, a former Cubs player. Again, he's got a flux of utility infielders, and they don't know what to do with them. And the Mets have got Jordan Yamamoto from the Marlins off waivers in a trade. That will just be organizational peace. The Giants have signed James Sheffrey to a minor league deal, who was on the Diamondbacks last year. The Orioles have signed King Felix after he opted out of the whole entire 2020 season with the Braves. And man, oh man, if he is anywhere near being a fourth or fifth starter, he can continue to pitch. They'll help the Orioles out, and they can always flip him at the deadline. The Brewers have signed Colton Wong, so they're now saying, sorry, Keston here, you can't field. We're not sure who's going to play first base, so you're going to slide over to first base. Because they got also Urias, who could also play second, but then they're not sure. But at least with Colton Wong, you get consistent defense and above average to average hitting overall. And you take them away from the Cardinals, which hurts them, even with the Nolan Arenado move. So the Brewers did something smart there. The Indians signed Brian Shaw to a minor league deal and Heath Hembree. It's Brian Shaw's second time with them. When he was with them, he was probably one of the best seventh inning pitchers in baseball. Went to Colorado. Wasn't really the same, as bounced around a bit. And Heath Hembree, the former Red Sox setup man, was traded to the Phillies this past year. So if the two of them are anywhere near they used to be, that will be a steal for the Indians in their bullpen. The Giants have DFA Luis Basabe. The Sox just got rid of him, never used him, and the Giants barely used him, but he's a young, talented, speedy outfielder. Someone will definitely pick him up. Indians have re-signed Mike Freeman to a minor league deal. He'll compete for a utility spot, and he's been there for a couple of years, so familiarity there. Cubs have brought back Rex Brothers on a minor league deal. If he's healthy, they'll help the Cubs bullpen. They brought in Joe Biggini, Nick Martini, and Patrick Wisdom. Martini could help them out in the outfield because they don't have a Moore or Schwarber, so you get themselves a backup outfielder. And Joe Biggini could be a starter or reliever where they need innings to be eaten. And Patrick Wisdom is a quad A player, so I'm not sure if they're going to use him that much. Nationals have signed Jody Mercer to a minor league deal because their infield is not 100%, and having a veteran infielder is a good idea. The Rangers have Mike Foltynewicz to a one-year deal. They're trying to fix their rotation. Foltynewicz is trying to get his career back on track, so maybe 1 year in a team that's not going to make the playoffs will actually help him. The Twins picked up Ian Hamilton off waivers, so again, getting the Sox reject to try to fix their bullpen. The White Sox did sign somebody this week. They've signed Jonathan Lucroy to a minor league deal. He was with the Phillies and the Red Sox during the 2020 season in alternate sites, but wasn't really used. Now, he's only 34 years old, so it's not like he's 38, 39. If Matt Wieters, Alex Avila, and Kurt Suzuki could still catch, I feel like Lucroy one time for a 5 to 8 year period was one of the two best catchers in baseball. He was a two-way catcher. That him being the Sox backup catcher might be good. You may come up with a clutch hit. You never know. Now, one of the biggest players to come off the market this week is Trevor Bauer. He officially signed a 3-year deal with the Dodgers, and there's a few opt-outs in there. The Dodgers, they just got to be greedy. You got Clayton Kershaw, you got Walker Buehler, you got Urias, you got Dustin May, you got Tony Gonsolin. You're going to get Chris Archer back. It's just like, not Chris Archer, excuse me, David Price back, confusing race pitcher. That's a lot of pitchers for them to choose from, and now you add Bauer, so you can make May or Gonsolin or Urias a relief pitcher because you have so many pitchers. Thank you for listening to another edition of MLB Hotstove Observation Week number 11. For On the Radar Blog, I'm Radar. See you guys next time.